Hello, in this video I'll show you how to remove and replace the front control arm bushings on Citroen C5. In this case here, the control bushings are torn, so we need to replace them. In order to replace them, first we need to remove the control arm. The control arm is held by one bolt on one bushing, two bolts on the other bushing, and then where the ball joint connects we need to remove. First, to start by removing the wheel. Next, we'll remove this bolt for the control arm. Then we'll remove this one for where the bushing is caught. We'll have to remove it from the top. And then these two bolts we need to remove as well for the other bushing on the control arm. If the video is useful, please like and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. For the bolt on the front bushing, there is not much space to put in a socket, so I'm going to use a wrench, a long wrench, size 15, and it will work. Now that the bolt is loose, I'm going to use a shorter wrench to remove it. Once I loosen this bolt all the way, I'm going to try to remove it, but in my case it's not possible because the drive shaft is on the way. So in order to remove it, I'm going to have to remove the twist rod and now that I removed the twist rod and the tail end, I'm going to push the whole wheel to the rear so that I get enough space to remove the bolt. And that's the bolt out. Now that I've removed all the bolts of the control arm, I'm going to use a pry bar to take out the control arm. And that's the control arm out. Next, I'm going to be replacing the two bushings. First, I'll start with this bushing here. I'm going to mark where exactly the location of this bushing is, so that I put the other bushing in exactly the same position. Now I'm going to try to hammer out the bushing to see if it will work. It doesn't work with hammering out the bushing. I'm going to take this part of the bushing because the rubber is torn and it comes out very easy, but the metal part of the bushing is not coming out. No, the metal part is not coming out, so I'm going to try and cut the metal part. Here we can see the metal part of the bushing. I'm going to try to cut the metal part and then try and take it out that way. Now that I've cut that metal part of the bushing, I'm going to try and hammer it out. We can see it's coming out. And the metal part of the bushing is out. Next, we're going to remove this part as well because there is a new one in the new kit. Next, I'm going to lubricate the place with some grease and then put on the new bushing. First, I'm going to put this ring in. I'm going to hammer it in. Next, I'm going to mark the new bushing in the same position as the old bushing, and then I'll start putting on the new bushing. In order to put in the new bushing, I need to hammer the bushing in. I'm using a socket which is and diameter is as big as the metal part of the bushing, and I'm just gonna hammer it in. And that's the bushing almost in. Next I'm going to replace the other bushing. I'm going to remove the other bushing on a hydraulic press. I'm just using a ring that's a smaller diameter than the metal part of the bushing, and on the bottom side I'm using a ring which is a bigger diameter than the bushing, so that it goes into the ring when I push it. And that's the bushing out. Now I'm going to clean the place on the control arm, lubricate it with grease, and then put on the new bushing. Now again, I'm going to use a ring that's a little bit smaller or as big as the diameter of the bushing to push in the bushing. Underneath is a ring that's bigger than the bushing, and I'm going to push it all the way in. And that's the new bushing on. Now we can go and put the control arm onto the car. It's a little bit hard to put in the control arm back in its place, but it will go in eventually. You might need to hammer it in a little bit, maybe pry it in a little bit, and it will work. I'm going to lift the whole wheel hub to the top so that the control arm goes a little bit up, and this way to go straighter in. And now I'm going to hammer it in, and then maybe use a pry bar to pry it in, and then put on the bolts. Once you put on all the bolts, you assemble everything in the reverse order, and that's it. Hopefully the video was helpful. Thank you for watching.